Three, look out now. The sideline, forget about it. This baby's over.
Oh, my goodness. One man. Goodbye. Hello, Heisman.
And most especially in 310 days in Ann Arbor, Michigan, on the football field.
Another block. One more. He's gone. Touchdown. No flag.
Samuel cuts it back. Ohio State wins.
Here's the run again. Donovan Edwards. Whoa. Can they catch him? No. Donovan Edwards again. The down.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to the Scarlet and Blue Show. This is a bit of an impromptu episode, just given a few of the things that have happened as of late, recently. We're going to do one show. We're going to wait to release it tomorrow because Michigan is going to be on deck media days tomorrow. But then, of course, things have changed. It's supposed to be all fun and games with our teams and our coaches and players and talking about the last couple of months and then going forward to this couple of months. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be a perfect start of the season. But no, Garrison, no. Instead, talk about something else. Something that, to be frank, everyone outside of East Lansing and Columbus would agree on. But we have to talk about how stupid the NCAA is. So, Garrison, I know you're going to try to spin this every which way from Sunday, talk about how Jim should probably be in prison and the Michigan football program should be abolished from the earth and wiped clean.
I mean, that's not too far up. I mean, come on. That's
not exactly. Too far up. So we'll get to those points, but just before we do all that, I'm going to say my piece and we're going to But I'm going to say my piece, man, because as you can see, I'm saying in solidarity with my guy, Jim here. We're just going to talk about how truly stupid the NCAA is. No one takes the NCAA serious anymore, especially not Jim Harbaugh. And you know what? They know that now. The NCAA is just this hypocritical entity, legal body that thinks they're way bigger than they actually are. I mean, you have schools like Tennessee committing over 200 violations and getting a slap on the wrists, and they're fine because they self-reported. And because Jim, like anyone else, may not remember every single detail that comes up with every single interaction. And he doesn't want to play their stupid games. And now the stupid NCAA is all butthurt about it because Jim pissed them off and Jim made them look bad. And now they can finally go after some big fish. Garrison, who are the most powerful people in college football?
It depends on where you go.
So I'll tell you the answer to that. It sure ain't Charlie Baker. It wasn't Mark Emmert. It ain't the president of the NCAA. You know who's on the top of that list likely? Greg Sankey, SEC commissioner. NCAA didn't want college football in 2020. And he's like, no, we're going to play.
Yeah.
You guys can either get on board if you want to. And NCAA is like, oh, okay. If the NCAA ever came out and did something that Sankey didn't like, I guarantee you that man has a direct line to Charlie Baker, or it was Mark Emmert, whoever the powers be. It's like, hey, no, we're not gonna do that. No way. Sit here. This is what we're gonna do. And you know why? It's because the NCAA doesn't provide any value, doesn't provide any real revenue, right? ESPN's not paying $300 million to air Wake Forest men's soccer games. No disrespect to Wake Forest and the men's soccer team. I'm sure they're a fine squad. But you know what? No, the money's in college football. That's where ESPN's paying. That's where Fox, that's where NBC is paying. We're going to talk about the games that NBC's airing at night a little bit later on here. But that's where they're paying.
All right.
And you know who controls college football? It ain't the NCAA. It's the big dogs in the SEC. It's the big dogs in the Big Ten. And it's other schools like USC and Texas and Clemson and Florida State. And guess what? Half of those teams I just listed are going to go to one of those conferences.
So you sound like you're coming up with some huge conspiracy theory against Jim Harbaugh, sir. It sounds like you think there's a huge conspiracy theory against Jim Harbaugh.
I don't.
Am I not right? Am I not right when I say that?
I don't think there's a conspiracy theory. I think it's just they're trying to throw their weight around, and Jim's not having it. So what? So did Jim break the rules? Sure. He broke a couple level 2 violations.
A couple.
What, 4? 4 that are
it was. I could be wrong. I want to say 4. He had 4 in there. My gosh, it was 4 level 2, and because of what happened in those, it went. He was then charged another one, but as a level 1 for being a liar and
so
cheat.
You didn't necessarily lie, just didn't play their games. So what? So okay, he broke a couple level 2 violations and should have been a minor punishment, right? But because the NCAA is so sensitive and stupid and worried about their power and that they don't have anymore, they're trying to throw that on their weight. Jim is really essentially just getting punished because he didn't cooperate. So that tells me that this body, this entity, makes punishments based on subjective cooperation. What are we doing, Garrison? What are we doing? And if the NCAA was consistent across the board, I'd be all in. That's fine. But they're not. You're telling me these things aren't happening down south? No, they are. Let's not sit here and be self-righteous.
The SEC is like, it's a different culture.
If you're going to have one body that oversees all those conferences, that you can't have multiple cultures there. That's stupid. That's stupid. And then just whatever. Lastly, all this because he didn't self-report. He's getting suspended for 4 games. That is 1/3 of the football season. And I don't care about who they're playing necessarily, because you're right. We probably should win all those games by 20 plus.
You should.
At least. But
you should.
Rutgers, we played them 2 years ago. We won by 7, right? ECU went 8-5 last year, almost beat NC State. They're fine football teams. And when you have Harbaugh's best team that he's had at this as a coach in this season, that this national title bust, you have all this.
It's possibly the 3rd best team in Michigan history or 2nd best team.
Fair, yeah.
It should be. At least it's expected to be.
Expectations haven't been this high probably in 15 years. And they're here, and then this crap happens with 4 games. So, dude, last thing I'll say, Garrison.
Go. Go. Have at it, buddy.
Paul Feinbaum, the bald-headed schmuck down south, who is so deep in Nick Saban's trailer park, he even says, he's like, let's start with the NCAA. This is a quote, direct quote. Let's start with the NCAA. It's beyond a clown show, Greeny. He was on Get Up this morning. It's a clown show, and the fact that they would sanction him is really beyond the pale. I mean, Mike.
You guys owe him some grace now. We
do. He's like, I mean, let me finish the quote. I mean, Mike, don't inject me honestly here, but I'm starting to respect Jim Harbaugh for standing firm and refusing to go down the NCAA's path. This could have been over a long time ago, but Harbaugh would not admit he lied. And because the NCAA is so backwards and so antediluvian, they ended up with this agreement. And let me just say, they're so stupid and incompetent that they let someone they're trying to punish negotiate the punishment. What are we doing? And then the last thing he says,
that's a good point.
The NCAA has no jurisdiction over anyone or anybody, and they can't push things too far because the schools will take them to court, which, mind you, they already have. NCAA is up to their eyeballs in lawsuits, and the NCAA maybe will lose. And in the end, I think Harbaugh looks really good here, and there might be, and then he makes a joke about him potentially leaving. So the NCAA is trying to throw the weight around. It's time for the Big Ten. It's time for Michigan. It's time for Jim Harbaugh to start throwing his around. I'm sick of dealing with these clowns.
Please proceed. Oh, man. Let me know. Just let me know when you're ready, buddy. I understand. I do understand. Well, Bryce Sack, that was exactly everything I thought you were going to say. First, let me say, just as the University of Michigan is, you are not accepting of critique or to be criticized. You can be, sir, that was very arrogant and pompous of you, everything you said there, coming with some huge conspiracy theory against Jim. Oh, my God. coming with look at this guy. Coming up with some huge conspiracy theory about the NCAA and like Jim Harbaugh, why he got punished. And I'm not here to listen. Bryce, sack. And to your dad too, and a lot of other people I know who I love and respect that went to Michigan. Please do not take this to heart what I say. A large part of that fan base by the rest of the nation, and especially by Michigan State and Ohio State, we see you guys as pompous and arrogant. And how Jim Harbaugh treated this situation was just that. And what you Michigan fans fail to like understand is that he is not some savior. He is not some guy he's not perfect. He's not perfect, and you guys treat him as he is. And then you realize he's just another big time college football coach, just like the rest of the nation. And your school is just like the rest of the nation. You cheat, and it's okay. It is okay. I bet you, if you knew your school cheated for 3 years straight, you would take that if it came with a championship. Would you not? Yes or no?
100%.
Exactly. And I think that is kind of hurting your guys' feelings and your pride as a whole fan base about what is happening right now. Yes, you're going to be missing. There's a good chance because it's not final yet. Because the NCAA is stupid, and when you're trying to give a punishment, Bryce, you ever been punished before? Did your parents ever negotiate how you were going to be punished? No.
That's what I'm saying.
So it's kind of listen. I'm a Buckeye fan, so I will let you know that I empathize with you. I understand what you're going through. But there's no sympathy over here, because I remember being a kid, and I saw the news and how Michigan fans treat the Ohio State thing, and then I remember like going to the urban days of that last season and just hearing how Michigan fans were just picking at us because we were in the news. And look where you find yourself. Look where you find yourself in that exact situation.
I'm not asking for sympathy. If the roles were reversed between you and I, conversation would be going the exact same way, just opposite.
Like Bryce, I wrote this down.
Oh dear.
Listen to this. 4 level 2 citations, then being like misleading and not being truthful, because they had the receipt, right? Someone gave the receipt. Someone gave the receipt
for what?
The burger. Oh my gosh, the burger, Bryce. But everyone thinks this is burger. That's disingenuous. That's disingenuous to call this Burger Gate, okay? And then because of lying, that went to level 1 for being a liar, because that's what he was in the situation.
Didn't lie.
He did.
No, just didn't say everything.
He was during the dead period, and it was during COVID. So I mean, for most of the nation, it was a difficult time. And
who'd you talk to on September 26th of 2020?
September 26th of 2020.
Oh, you don't remember?
My man, probably my coworker, Mike, at my old job.
Probably. We gotta be careful.
Yes, Bryce.
You gotta be careful.
Bryce, this was a kid that was already committed to him. He knows the kid. Okay, so does that. Okay, does it during the dead period, which is already a recruiting infraction. That by itself.
He texted him, right? You're talking about the text.
Yes, and you can't have any contact.
What did the text say?
Bryce, come on, bro. Let's not do this.
Let's lay it out. It could
Bryce,
be.
No, Bryce. This is now we're getting stupid. Bro, we're in stupid land, and we're not going there. We are not going.
Lay out the points. Let's lay out the points. It could be anything from, hey, recruit, let's pull a fast one on the NCAA, or it could be the kid texting Harbaugh being like, hey, coach, question for you, and Harbaugh texts back and says, hey, sorry, can't talk dead period. Is it one of those two things?
Bryce, if that was the case, they would not do that. It's not just Jim Harbaugh. It's Sharon Moore too, Bryce. It's Sharon Moore too. See, man, now you're being disingenuous, and now you don't understand the situation for what it is. And like, let me read this to you, Bryce. We talked about this earlier, but I want the audience to hear this. Okay, this was a caller on the Mike Valenti and Rico show this morning. It was a Michigan fan. It was a Michigan fan.
Oh, please. Yeah, please send me to those guys.
But no, it was a Michigan fan that called. He's been calling for a long time now. They know who he is. And he brought us a word that's called realpolitik with a K at the end. Realpolitik.
Doctor.
Okay. Now it's a noun. It means a system of politics or principles based on practical rather than moral or ideological considerations. On the show today, he dumbed it down to this: a cynical analysis of politics or events that are not what you would like them to be, but is about how he phrases it, but he liked that to Michigan. Cynical analysis of politics or events as they are, not what you would like them to be. Right? And then he says this: we don't have this dichotomy of what would it be if it was MSU and what would it be if it was OSU, because that doesn't matter. We all know that we could be intellectually dishonest if it was them, but we don't have to because we control the narrative. Is that not Bryce Sack? You're a Michigan fan. Have you ever heard of the blue wall?
Yeah, but I'm not. Everything you just said, I agree with. I told you.
So then can you agree that you are being intellectually dishonest right now?
What did I say that was just intellectually dishonest?
You just spent 15 minutes coming up with a conspiracy theory, like this is the Joe Rogan podcast. Is the
NCAA being clowns? Is that a conspiracy theory? Wait,
no, Bryce. I think your fan base is being clowns right now.
I know Ohio State gets coddled more than anybody up north.
Bryce,
but you can't,
because they respect us.
Oh yeah, okay.
They like us.
If that's what makes you sleep at night, then you go for that. But if you're gonna sit here and say that me saying the NCAA is a clown show, and then calling that a conspiracy theory towards Jim, then then you little.
No, Bryce, it's not that. It's that you didn't
like America, rest of society.
It's not that. It is not that. For 3 seconds, you brought up. You said yes, he broke some rules, and then you went right back into what they call mansplaining, Bryce-splaining the situation, and that's not what it was. Like, yes, it's what it was. You had there's equal parties in this. The biggest culprit is Ward Manuel to me. I don't know why he still has a job based on what's gone through all of your programs at Michigan, Bryce. Oh, he should be fired. I'm not saying Jim should. Come on, come on. Everyone does this in the nation.
You think Jim should be suspended?
Yes.
How many games?
4 is just. 4 is just.
You think so? You think Jim Tressel should have been fired? You think
right? If this happened back in 2010 season.
So you agree
Jim
that
Harbaugh would have been fired. Jim Harbaugh would have been fired.
Oh, see, I don't agree that Jim Tressel should have been fired for that. I've always said that.
So I've heard you make jokes about that.
Of course, I'm gonna make jokes because that's what we do. I just told you that. If the rules.
So why can't you guys take it on the chin this time?
Because it's not a Michigan Ohio State thing. I could care less about you guys, care less about little brothers in East Lansing. I don't care. To me, it's a vendetta against the NCAA. This is stupid. Like, there is no reason this little infraction committee or whatever they're called should be involved to this extent. It should be no more than whatever the level 2.
I'm not disagreeing with that.
He broke the rules. The rules are broken. I understand. So if those level
during a very critical time in the world, don't forget that.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Governor. Since he broke the rules, that needs to be answered for. He should be punished for that. But because someone got their feelings hurt, who was an investigator and didn't like how he responded,
no, you don't get to do that. You don't get to do that.
Why not?
Because look. The same reason I told you earlier that what Jim did was arrogant. It was. So you want to know why TCU can have over 200 infractions and still maybe get a lighter sentence? Because you see, you gave him half the credit earlier when you're speaking. I forgot to bring this up. You gave him half the credit. They self-reported, as Ohio State has done twice now. We did this, I think, this past season again. And then they self-sanction. You guys talk about how they only have how they don't have a bowl ban. They took away some wins. Well, now they might have been pointless wins because they're bad. But they told the NCAA everything. And then you got to remember, the school is trying to get that coach out of there. The NCAA probably liked knowing that they were doing it for that reason, bro. They were trying to get them out of there.
That is so much shadier and shiftier than
it's college football, Bryce.
Has ever even looked at. And
Bryce,
that's what you're going to compare it to?
Bryce, you respect my dad. Do you not? Do you not? You respect our own daddy. Do you not?
Oh, more. Yeah. Almost.
Okay. We had this me and we're talking about this the other day. And these are his exact words. Hey, no, respect these words then, Bryce. Respect these words. These aren't mine. These are his. He says it's hurting them to see that their coach is just another big-time college football coach, and he's no different from anyone else, and the institution isn't either.
Okay, so now you're going back to now like me having to explain on behalf.
You're having a vendetta against the NCAA, and I understand it, but you're doing it without realizing this is your coach's fault.
Yeah, but no, Garrison, two things.
It's his fault. He didn't have the cheat.
No, he made 4 mistakes, and they self-reported.
No, it's not a mistake. It's not a mistake. He went out and purposely did it.
No, the analyst on the field, that one was self-reported, so they reported that one. So 3 of the 4, he made just critical errors. He was then pressed and said, he said he was asked, Coach, what happened here? He didn't remember, and then didn't give the answers that the investigator wanted.
He was like, Dave Chappelle pleaded fifth.
So like, this is not a vendetta against Buckeye or like trying to prove that we're holier than thou, because I'm not going to sit here and try to.
That's how you right. Is that not how you guys act?
It's not going to sit here and be the voice for idiots on Twitter who say all these things, because Michigan fans are can be a soft fan base.
I'm happy you said that.
Oh my gosh! But so can Ohio State fans, so can Georgia fans.
No, we're just mean.
Every fan base has the loud, soft. They're the B words. This is a family show though, Garrison. We're gonna keep it clean, but they're little B words.
Show.
So I'm not gonna speak on behalf of them, but what I absolutely, like, as Paul Feinbaum said, I agree. I love what he's doing. He's not cowtailing to these guys. These are stupid. Jim has always been player centric. He's always been for the transfer portal. He's always been for NIL before those things even became legitimate things. He's always been for the players.
He's not been for all those players, but
okay. So of all the players he's coached, you're going to pick out 2: Benjamin St. Juste and James Hudson. That's fine. Not
Bryce.
Not all of them can be great.
Bryce. That's like
yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to equate it to that, but that's just like that's like saying that's like having a. What do you call it? It's like having a girlfriend, Bryce. Go ahead.
So
I just.
Let me tell you this much, Garrison. If we got all jokes aside, and this happened to Ryan Day, and
you let him have it. You let him have it.
But I would give you the business. But behind the scenes, though. I'd be like, Garrison, if he's actually fighting the NCAA like he says he is and what it seems like he's doing, then I'm going to come out and take his side if that's actually what's happening. Because
you wouldn't.
Yes, I would. You and I have talked about this forever. You and I have talked about how much I can't stand the NCAA. I said it in the first episode. Well, it was back when the NCAA actually had power and people took them seriously. They were scary. Now they're just annoying.
Right.
So I mentioned how annoying they were. We're not even talking about them. I've always hated the NCAA.
Yes, Bryce, but let me read this for you again. Maybe the viewers heard it. I'm gonna read this for you again. We don't have to have this dichotomy of what it would be if it was MSU. What would it be if it was OSU? Because it doesn't matter. We all know that we would be intellectually dishonest if it was them. So that's what you're being right now. I told you. This is the second time I've said this.
I don't know why I just said
you are too smart of a man to be doing this right now.
I feel like I just told you if she was on the other foot. yeah, I'd give you the business, but then I'd take your side because
Bryce, stop saying that.
Because it's not a battle against Ohio State. It's not a vendetta against them. And I get what you guys are doing. Pile on. That's great. This is the biggest win of Sparty's season. I get it. But if I knew that Ryan Day was going to war against the NCAA and Ohio State was going to war against the NCAA, I'm all in. I support you. And that's what this is. This is a war against the NCAA. Paul Feinbaum even said that. If Paul said that, we're
so now wait. So now because Paul's on your side, now he's the voice of reason for the University of Michigan.
It shows how bad it is when Paul is agreeing with Jim Harbaugh, Garrison. Jim Harbaugh's been at Michigan for 7 years, eight years now. 8 years now. And he's never once said anything. He's maybe said one good thing when he beat Ohio State. Finally, that was the first time. This is the second good thing he's ever said about Jim. There's your answer. If you don't want
to Bryce, to be honest, your coach has given many reasons his career at Michigan to give praise to. But
not true, but all right. So that's it. Everyone else, I know everyone's talking about it.
And listen, I want you to know this. I still respect Jim Harbaugh. I still like him as a coach, not as a person, as a coach.
You have no reason to dislike him as a person.
You
have no reason to dislike him as a person. I have no reason to dislike Ryan Day as a person. I have no reason to dislike Mel Tucker as a person. What reason do you have to dislike Jim Harbaugh as a person?
He's just so pompous, man.
All right. Well, there you go.
But I respect. But listen, that doesn't mean I can't respect you. And I respect how I don't understand how he feels on it. Like I get it, but you put yourself in a situation.
No,
this is the choice you made. And when hey, listen, when you make your bed, you gotta lay in it.
All right,
that's all I'm saying. Listen, I understand Jimmy lied, Urban lied. Hey, I understand it.
Didn't lie.
But you don't get any sympathy. You don't get sympathy from me. He did lie. You don't get sympathy from me because I understand the situation. And I was very honest and truthful about it.
He didn't lie. Urban Meyer lied about Zach Smith, but Jim didn't lie about this. He just didn't remember.
No, I said Jim Tressel lied also.
Oh, yeah. No, Jim Tressel lied. Urban Meyer lied. Jim did not lie about this.
All right.
All right. We got to wrap because it's supposed to be like a bonus episode. But yeah, Michigan State, Michigan play, 7:30 at night. Speaking of your boy Mike Enrico, guy's an idiot. He's trying to fuel the fire.
No, Bryce. I went to a space today and I asked some of the Michigan fans, like Zay, Darnell. I asked them,
"Happy birthday, Zay!"
Hey, happy birthday, buddy. And Dre. But I asked him. I said, "Hey, man, would you bring your kids or your wife to a night game at East Lansing, especially this year?" He goes, "No." That's what all Mike Valenti was saying. Man,
he wasn't. Oh, that guy's such a clown. No, he wasn't. That guy.
I ride with my guy, man. I ride with my guy.
Half his fan base hates him. Anyways, I don't take those guys seriously. They're a lot better Twitter.
Well, you take Braylon and Armani seriously?
Hey, Braylon's one of my favorite Michigan players. Lost me a little bit as he's gone to the radio career, but I'll ride it out.
Did you see what he said yesterday?
Yeah, I saw what he said.
Oh, good grief.
Can't say that.
They blocked it out today.
Yeah, I saw the clip on Twitter. They cut it. Yeah, so they play at night, but no, you're right. That game's going to be absolutely nuts. I understand the TV spots. NBC wants that game at night, so there's not a lot you can do. But I mean, there were people who asked for that game to be just like canceled for the year. And just let's wait a year, let it simmer, and then come back. Which I don't even know.
Because, bro, ever since Mike Hart said what he said, man, it's been toxic since that. And then D'Antonio, what did he say? Pride comes before the fall.
That's another conversation.
It'll never be over.
Don't blame Mike Hart for this. He was ever since
that happened. Who has the winning record in the rivalry? Just saying.
Ever since people blame.
We'll do it later. We'll talk about it later.
I was saying people blame Hart for that, but that was all D'Antonio. That guy fueled things, and they won, so I guess it worked. But I just don't blame Mike Hart for that.
Hasn't your coach done that?
As what?
Never mind.
Jim has never done that. He doesn't play those games. And then, dude, you got your old coach going to Camp Randall at night.
Yeah, man.
That's one.
Scary. I'm not gonna lie.
Gotta be careful.
When I saw that, Bryce, all it could remind me of was like the Purdue or Iowa game. And I don't know, Bryce, if you've seen this. Have you seen the Ohio State schedule yet?
Yeah, we looked at it 2 weeks ago or 2
Yeah,
episodes.
but we kind of skimmed through it, and I really want to emphasize this 5-game stretch. It's no joke. You go to Fort Notre Dame, night game. Then you go back home, but you play Maryland. Maryland.
Tricky team.
The following week, you go to Purdue.
New coach, new
Bryce, I promise, if it's a night game, I'm gonna be very upset. I have nightmares of that day. My mom heard me saying words I would never say. And I can't repeat on here, and because why?
It's a kid show. It's a family show, not a kid show. It's a family show. No, you guys have a brutal schedule.
No, Bryce. The following week is Penn State after Purdue, and then the next week is at Wisconsin at 7:30. Listen, man.
All right, so let me just
that 10-2 is coming back quicker than I think.
The 10 and the
10-2 it can happen. It can happen.
About the record?
It can happen.
Yeah, I was about to ask you best case scenario, which could easily be attainable. 12-0. Worst case scenario,
which I expect. Worst
case scenario is
I don't want to say it.
8-4?
No.
You're not gonna lose 4 games?
But I will say, since 2000, we've only been under double digits twice. Okay. So, and that was 2011 and 2004. So it doesn't happen like that. A lot of people forget who we are. We are the Ohio State University, Bryce.
All right,
we in the South, they hear us roar. Yeah. We're the only team outside the South they respect. So I just want to, we're still Ohio State.
Well, everybody,
if you thought today I wasn't going to come on here and be an Ohio State slappy, you were wrong. I went full slappy today. I'm proud of myself.
We'll let the fans decide. I don't care about Ohio State, Michigan State in this matter. I don't care about anybody else. I care about putting the NCAA in its place. They need to get smacked around a little bit, and Uncle Jimmy is going to take care of them. Don't you worry.
Uncle Jimmy, my goodness.
All right. Good stuff. Media days is still happening. It's gonna be fun with Jim tomorrow. All right, we'll talk to everyone tomorrow.
Yeah. See you, man. Go.